All right, we're out in Ptarmigan Ranch in Parker, and you probably see from the outside, this is a big lot, and all the houses are fairly spread out. So the family building this moved out here from California, and they're building their dream home. They are at the stage at this point where they just passed their framing inspection on Tuesday and did really well. You know, even the framer said, well, we didn't have anything wrong with our framing inspection. They have to do anything to fix anything. So it was pretty awesome. So he just started moving even faster after that in the last few days. This is only Thursday now. Last few days. So he's already started insulation and it's already almost done on the walls anyway. Yep. He's got the roofers going on outside. He had the well line put in today. So, the owner builder on this property has been really working hard.
So what made them to decide to do the owner builder program?
Mainly the biggest thing I think is basically cost. You know, they knew, and he's got experience with construction. You know, they have built houses before, not as a GC, but someone else is building it for them. So they're involved in the house building process a few times in California. So they're not new to this. You know, he's an electrician by trade. Kind of part-time, doesn't really do it all the time. But anyway, he knows about electricity and how to do that. So he knew he could save some money by doing the electrical work himself. And with that, he goes, we're gonna be here just about every day anyway. Yeah. So why don't we just go ahead and just do it? So he's been doing a lot more hands-on than most owner builders do.
Sure.
But so he could do this while he had a full-time job, but he decided to do a lot more on his own too. So anyway, yeah, that was really the big thing. It's just the cost savings.
So let's clear up that misconception. So some people think when we talk about owner builder that they need to pick up the saw and the hammer and do a lot of work themselves.
No.
What's the reality?
The reality is you usually hire everybody to do that. Because you don't have time to do all that, really. Unless you do, your house build is going to take a little longer because you're one-man show.
Or if you like to do it.
Right, if you like to do it.
Have at it.
Yeah, and so if you want to do those things, you can, but that's definitely not a requirement. You could just basically go to your job during the day, get people started in the morning, come back later in the afternoon or evening, and make sure they're on track, make sure things are going well. Communication is going to be the biggest thing there, right? Because you're not on site all the time. Yeah. Making sure they're ready to go, have everything they need to include instruction on what you want them to do for that particular sub, the framer, whoever.
So people don't have to have experience in construction, but they do have to have certain traits to be successful doing this. What would those traits be?
The biggest one is enthusiasm, I think. You gotta want to do this, right? Because if you don't, you kind of take it like middle of the road and don't put a lot of effort into it, you're gonna have a middle of the road, not so great house at the end, right? If it even gets finished. So the energy, the enthusiasm, the desire to build. You got to be somewhat organized because you're going to have to figure out all this, and you're going to have to be a decent communicator. You can't be an introvert guy who likes to hang and not talk to many people because you'll never get anything done. You'll get a lot of frustrated subs trying to get information out of you and it'll never get done. So really, if you can do those kind of things, if you can, as Bob always says, you can manage a checkbook, you can do this. Well, it's a simplified version, but yeah, if you can figure out how to plan ahead, budget accordingly, right, and then manage a project as it go along and be able to make decisions. Because that's what they're going to be coming to you for. It's like you're the one with the final word. So you need to be able to make decisions and not, I need to do more research. I need to do more research. No. Ask the people that are smart on what's the best options and then just make one and press forward.
Right. But by doing the owner builder program, you get to eliminate that middleman. You're not paying the markup of a typical
the 15-20% of a general contractor. You know, that's a lot of money when you're talking an $800,000 home or $500,000 even. That's a lot of money. Yeah. So if you can save that, and it takes you roughly a year from planning through certificate of occupancy, there's $150,000, $200,000 that you're saving, by being the guy yourself.
And summarize for me, what is your role as a project manager helping these people through this process?
Yeah, so there's, again, a lot of them have never done this before, right? So there's a lot of little nuances, little tricks of the trade, things to think about, what's coming up next. Besides getting them set up from the planning, giving them good subcontractors, designers, engineers that we trust and do a really good job but aren't like overpriced, right? They're reasonably priced. We put our clients in contact with those guys so that they can design the house they want, keep it on budget. We give them all the forecasting of how much everything's roughly going to cost. It's more like an allowance. Here's what you can kind of expect things to cost. Depends what you pick, right? Sure. You order it from online, you might get a little cheaper, but then it may not be that great, right? It may be just good enough. You want to get really nice stuff, you go to the more expensive stuff. So it just depends. But anyway, set up all their cost forecasts and get them started. And then really once they go in for permit, make sure they're all ready for all that. And then once they start construction, it's not like we back off, you're on your own kind of thing. Now we're backing them up, right? Before and at each phase of the construction, foundation, excavation, all those things. We're making sure they thought of everything they're supposed to. The field workbook has a lot of that in there. We have this document, big long Excel workbook, really, with a bunch of different worksheets in it that tells them all the sequence of all the different events and all the notes, inspections, everything you can think of to guide you through all that in a timeline.
So you teach these people how to be a general contractor.
Right.
But then you guide them and you oversee and you keep
things
them out of trouble.
Right? Things come up. If something doesn't go right because somebody messed something up or they didn't think of something or whatever, we're there to kind of, well, here's your options. You can do this, 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 or this. And then we kind of smooth over the edges and just, again, keep pressing them forward so they can get to their finished product.
So bottom line, why should somebody call HomeWrights Custom Homes today?
Basically, if you want to be hands-on and have the rewarding experience of building your own house, your own dream home, maybe it's your final home that you're going to live in forever, right? Your forever home. You want the rewarding experience of doing that and being able to make all the decisions, on the entire build and not have someone tell you, no, you're going to have to do this way because that's the way we always do it, or that's what you paid for, or this is our standard. If you want to make all decisions and do whatever you want, and then in the process save some money, it's a lot of work, but you save some money in the process, a lot of money in the process, then that's why you would go to HomeWrights. No one else really offers that. I don't know of any other place in the nation that does what we do.